Hi everybody, Lee Burkeen with Louisiana Football Magazine. We're at the beautiful campus of Tulane University and we're in the coach's office. Coach Will Hall, the head football coach, first year. But we're going to talk about how it's not his first year at Tulane. He was here before. And we're going to talk about his team. We're going to talk about his background growing up in Mississippi. His dad was a coach for a long time. He's a legendary coach in Mississippi. And a lot of people played for his dad, even Butch Thompson, the baseball coach at Auburn that's done a great job at Auburn University as the baseball coach. And look, we're going to talk about a little bit of NIL, but mainly talk about Coach's background and how great things are at Tulane after winning the Cotton Bowl over USC and the Heisman Trophy winner Williams to go into the playoffs last year and being in a great situation coming up in 2026. We'll be right back.
The Sports Scouting Report with Lee Burkeen, brought to you by
Harvey Autos in Shreveport and Bossier City, the name you've trusted for years. Geico Insurance, the insurance savings you expect. Superior Grill in Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and New Orleans. The Giulio Brothers Italian Restaurant in Baton Rouge near LSU.
Here's your host, Lee Burkeen.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I'm joined with Coach Hall. Coach, nice to meet you.
Man, nice to meet you too, Lee.
I followed you from afar at Southern Miss.
Yep.
You did a great job there, and I know Tulane obviously got you to come back to Tulane as the head coach for this coming season. But you've had an interesting career like a lot of coaches. You've been at D2 level. You were head coach at Southern Miss. You were here as a quarterbacks coach, coordinator at Tulane back, I think, 19?
19 and 20.
I mean, so you were here at Tulane before. You played for your dad in Mississippi. And I'm going to let you say the name of the high school.
Amory.
Amory High School,
Yep.
which we're going to talk about some of the famous people to go to Amory. But what's it like being a coach's son? I asked that to anybody. Like, my dad was a coach growing up.
Yep.
Obviously had to help you a little bit.
Yeah. So, no, I think we're all products of our environment to a certain extent, and I'm kind of the poster child for that. I got dropped off the field house when I was 4 years old, have gone every day since then. My dad was kind of a larger-than-life figure. He's still alive, doing great. He's 71, plays golf every day.
Still young.
Yeah.
Still young.
But he's the second winningest public school coach in Mississippi history. He was a guy that would win and move and win and move. He was a program builder. That's what he enjoyed to do. He wasn't a guy that would stay there. So I moved a lot growing up, but it was awesome to see him invigorate communities and win big, and he was kind of my first hero.
Amory, Mississippi. Butch Thompson, Auburn baseball coach. His dad coached Butch Thompson. Dennis Johnson, who was a junior college D lineman, went to LSU as a walk-on, was a coach at LSU, Baylor, and now in the NFL with the Giants, I saw currently.
Yep.
You've had a lot of great people come out of there. Joe Burrow's dad, Jim Burrow, from Amory, Mississippi. Who would have thought that?
No doubt. Yeah, Jimmy Burrow is one of the all-time great players at Amory, a dear friend of mine. So Jimmy's dad, Mr. Jim Burrow, and his mom, Miss Dot Burrow. A lot of people don't know this, but Joe's grandmother, Miss Dot, is in the National Basketball Hall of Fame. She scored 91 points in a basketball game one time.
And this is in Mississippi?
Yeah, she's an unbelievable athlete. And but Miss Dot was my bus driver that dropped me off when I was 4 years old. And Miss Dot's husband, Mr. James Burrow, he hired my dad at Amory in 1984. So that's what brought us to Amory.
I was doing my research, Coach.
Yeah, no doubt.
And look, I want to talk switching to your roster and this being your first year as the head coach, but you were here 19 to 20 and you're familiar with Tulane. It's not like you don't know the area. You do know the area. And I always look at this. Being from Mississippi, you've got that recruiting tie. I noticed you got a Southern Miss player here on the team. And then you've got a bunch of Louisiana guys, a lot of St. Aug. Purple Knights are on your team. I think almost 5 players from St. Aug. You've got some Rummel, John Curtis, 2 players. Sprinkled throughout the city of New Orleans, you got a few guys from the city, which is important.
Yeah, Ed Carr, brother Martin Jesuit, and so on and so forth. We've got most of them covered. And it's a point of emphasis. We play great football in the city. We've done a great job of culturing relationships from Coach Fritz's staff through to Coach Sumrall to us. We got some guys on our staff like Brock Hayes, played at Edna Carr. Carter Sheridan was a St. Aug guy. Kyle Scheck-Snyder coached at John Curtis at one time. So we have a lot of guys that have city ties to those schools as well and recruited it for a long time.
And I see you got a grad assistant from Country Day, former quarterback.
Yeah, Justin Ibieta. I signed Justin out of high school. You know, his mom is the greatest high school volleyball coach in the country, and she's an unbelievable.
His brother goes to LSU.
That's right. Plays
football.
Yep. And so Justin's doing a good job, and you know, he had a bunch of injuries, or he would have been a phenomenal player too. And he's helps coach spots with the tight ends. Going to be a really good coach.
Your roster, speaking of the Louisiana guys, you've got a good sprinkle of players from around the South, Texas guys, Tennessee guys, some Georgia guys, obviously Mississippi and Alabama. You know, Alabama is more prominent with the rosters. I noticed LSU's got about 12 players from Alabama this year. That's a record. And then you've got a few Alabama guys.
Yep.
How do you look at that, Coach, when you start dissecting the pie in the regions now that we have NIL? How do you look at your...
Well, for us, you know, we're in such a fertile recruiting area. Obviously, Louisiana plays great high school football. Mississippi plays great high school football. Alabama does. Georgia does. And the Panhandle of Florida. And then East Texas. They're all touching us right there. So we want to use that to our advantage. People are really close. We're the best place to get a degree in the South. So we've got a great city. We got a lot of connections. You know, this is my 23rd year doing it. I've lived in 9 states, but they've all been in the Southeast right here. So I've recruited all those states really hard. And then when you throw J.J. McCleskey's from Tennessee, he's been a long time coach here, and so he's got a lot of connections in Tennessee, so he adds that to it as well. But we're going to recruit that footprint extremely hard. If it's a young man that wants to win and also loves a great education, we're hard to beat. And then outside of that, we'll go across the nation for specifically young men that either have a tie to New Orleans or they are, you know, academically inclined.
Tulane's one of the top 50 in the country academically. You can pull it up. It's amazing. It's hard to get on that top 50, top 75 list. There's some great academic schools around the country.
Yeah.
Speaking of your roster, when I grew up, Coach, and I was a Baton Rouge kid growing up, and I'm a 70s, 80s guy.
Yep.
And when I grew up, Tulane had guys like Ken Karcher, who's a friend of mine, still a coach today.
Yep.
Terrence Jones from Lutcher was a great player here. Patrick Ramsey from Ruston was a great player here. I mean, it was quarterback youth. Sean King with Tommy Bowden was a great quarterback.
Yep.
And then y'all have had some great ones in these last 5 years.
Yeah.
And I think most Tulane fans would want me to ask you, going into basically fall camps around the corner, how are you liking the quarterback position? Because it's been a staple of Tulane.
It really has. You know, you go back to 19, we had Justin McMillan, who transferred to us from LSU and got this whole thing going. We won back-to-back bowl games for the first time in school history. Then you have the great Michael Pratt. Then you go to Darian Mensah. And then this past year, Jake Rutzlaff. And now we've got 2 older guys. I'm going to start with Caden Samanza because he's been here. Caden was the MAC Freshman of the Year at Ball State. He was with us this past year as one of our backups. Caden started 16 games in his college career, played really well. Then you've got Zion Chris, who won a state title at Madison Prep. Transferred to us out of Houston. Zion had a great start to his career at Louisiana Lafayette, won a bunch of games for them. Then he transferred to Houston, was their starter in Coach Fritz's first year, dynamic athlete. He transferred to us this spring. So Zion's in his 5th year. Caden's in his 4th year. They're both older. Together, they've started like 45 games or more.
That means a lot.
Yeah, so a lot of experience and older, and feel really good about both of them. They both had great springs. And then we got some young guys battling for it as well.
And you're even impressed with the John Curtis quarterback.
I am. Dagan Bruno's who you're talking about. Dagan was a great basketball player in high school, great football player, obviously won a state title for that program. And he's really gotten better every year. He's in year 3 now. He's really improved his passing, and obviously he's a tough runner, having run that veer in high school.
Late bloomer.
Yeah.
You wait your turn at Curtis, you know that.
That's right.
We're going to talk about your son in a minute. But speaking of players, I've always been impressed, going back, Coach, when you were here in 19, and I've been impressed going all the way back to the Bowden days. You got to find those linemen, and there's not a lot of them.
Yep.
There's not a lot of good D tackles and nose guards and guards, centers, and tackles that are versatile. But Tulane these last 6 years, the O&D line has been, from afar, quality. I mean, y'all had some good OD lines.
We have, and I think it all goes back to planning ahead in recruiting. Those positions typically are developmental positions. A lot of guys don't come in and play right away at those spots. So you've got to get them in here, grow them, develop them, get better every day, both in the weight room and in the classroom, in the football classroom, and also on the field. And you can't miss a year. You've got to oversign at those spots. You've got to make sure you've always got a great new group coming in and stacking them to where when older guys leave, you've got guys that have been in your program ready to play. Because if you've got to count on first-year guys to play in the trenches, you're in a bad spot.
And then no depth.
Yeah.
I noticed what impressed me, Patrick Jenkins was on the team, and he transferred to USC.
Yep.
And the D-line didn't miss a beat.
That's right.
That's good recruit.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
when you lose one of your top D tackles and you got 3 others.
Yeah.
You picked up a great DN from Houston, from Lutcher High School, who I loved in high school.
Yeah.
What do you think about this young guy?
I love Rashad. Yeah, Rashad Sterling. It was awesome to get him back home. Rashad's like a lot of Louisiana young guys, man. He likes being close to home. Tulane was a great fit. He understands what the degree can do for him. And he's got a bright future, man. He's just going to be a redshirt freshman, second-year guy, and great young man, devout Christian, comes in the morning listening to gospel music, getting his day right, and he's going to be a good player.
I noticed special teams, you got a couple Louisiana people that are punters from the Jesuits and the John Curtises, and then you got a transfer special teams. How's that working out so far with you got a good group of punter, kickers, long snapper?
Yeah, so our kicker, Cooper Hilmke from St. Martin's, and then we signed a transfer, Jackson Corville. They're competing, and then at punter we got William Hudlow from Jesuit, and we bring in Brooks Moore from Georgia, Cook County, Georgia, and then our snapper Jason Arredondo's back from Las Vegas, good player.
That's a position people don't talk about, but it'll get you when you need it most, huh, Coach?
No doubt, yeah.
Switching to your sons, I went to Curtis about 3 months ago and interviewed JT, and Jeff Curtis showed me around, and I was sitting down and I said, this Hall kid right here, is that tied to Tulane's coach? They said, yeah, that's Coach Hall's son, Tripp.
That's right.
Who's a senior. And then you told me today that he finished second in wrestling in the heavyweight.
Yeah.
That's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah. He finished second in the 215 division in school, but then in the USA wrestling in the summer, he went up to heavyweight and actually won the state title. So proud of him. He's got a few D3 offers, a few NAIA offers, and we've kind of been going around visiting those schools. And he's a 5'11 and a half, 6 foot, 235-pound guy. He's a tough guy. He's a tough guy, and obviously really appreciate Coach JT and Jeff and Brandon Godfrey and all those guys at Curtis for how they've treated my family. My wife's a second grade teacher there.
Come on. And I think Godfrey went to Tulane, too.
He did. Both of them, Jerry and Brandon. Brandon finished up at Nichols, but Jerry played O-line here on the great 98 team.
O-lineman. I remember covering him.
Yeah.
Your youngest son, you want to give a shout-out to your youngest?
Yeah, Pete. Pete's going to be a 9th grader. He plays quarterback and plays a little basketball, and then he's a javelin thrower and actually won all the meets last year in javelin, so he's got a little bit of a future in that, too.
I can't talk about names because we're at coach, but they got a heck of a receiver and a couple of DBs that everybody wants right now.
Oh, yeah.
In a couple of different classes. We can't mention names right now. Coach, what would you like to mention, because this goes all over North Louisiana, all over the state. Any advice for parents on how to tread through the social media? I always tell people, don't live on there.
Yeah.
Because I know colleges don't want you living on there. They want you living in the weight room and getting better. Would you kind of say a little bit about the same lines? Because these kids are on social media constantly. I want to say it's got its good and it's bad, right?
Yeah, definitely. You want to have a presence on it enough to where people can get in touch with you and they can keep up with what's going on with you. But the thing I try to say is, man, social media, what we tell our players, what I tell my 2 boys, social media should be a running advertisement for how positive your life is. Social media, to me, anytime you put something negative or controversial on there, you are offending someone or removing someone from your life. And you want to, as a recruit, when you're in recruiting and you're wanting people to recruit you, you should be putting things on there that draw people into you.
Positive energy.
Yeah, you don't ever want to exclude anyone. And there's been a lot of young men that we've stopped recruiting through the years because of their social media presence, the things they say, the way they act, and the way they portray themselves. It can only hurt you. You want to always be trying to help and uplift you and everyone around you.
Because you only want to bring positive energy to the program.
That's right. That's right.
Team atmosphere.
That's right.
Speaking of NIL, we won't stay on it long, but you know, LSU was just publicly $45 million on the roster this coming year. I think A&M in Texas is pushing $50 million. Ohio State's over $40 million. I mean, Coach, this is it's crazy. And then I look at your roster, and I want you were telling me, and please tell the public about you compete. You told me with about 5 teams that you're going to have to play every week financially on these players. But y'all are in that top 5, 6.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have $45 million to build your roster, thank God. But tell everybody what it's been like to try and build a roster with a certain budget. And I know y'all have a pretty good budget compared to some Division I schools.
Yeah, I mean, we're up in the tops for our level. You know, that group of 6 level, we don't lose recruits due to money. And within our realm, you know, with relative to the people we have to beat to win our conference and to make the playoff. Now, you talked about LSU and A&M, those guys, Ohio State. There's about 15 to 25 schools that are operating totally different than everybody else.
Right.
And, you know, it's climbing every year. I certainly hope this bill can pass through Congress where we can get some more rules and parameters around it. And because we got to have rules and parameters in all phases of life. And right now we're a little bit the Wild Wild West, if you will. But I certainly appreciate our administration. When Rev Share and NIL came into play, Tulane shot up because our administration was out in front of it. We've done a great job of getting our hands around it and getting out on the forefront, and blessed to have the resources we do.
I'm excited for Tulane because growing up, you know, it was the LSU-Tulane rival, and then it stopped.
Yeah.
And I hope y'all can play again. Obviously, I think that might be working.
2030. Yeah, they got it signed.
Yeah,
2030.
That's big.
Yeah, that's huge for everyone.
Because you know, even if it's good talk or crazy, I mean, look, it's the rival we need.
That's right.
You got Texas A&M, you got Ole Miss, Mississippi State, you got Florida State. You used to have Tulane, LSU.
Yeah.
And I think it's good for recruiting for both schools. The emphasis of stay home, play this game, stay in state. But growing up, Tulane was always a good program. It was a great idea. But seeing where it's gone since you were there in 19, Tommy Bowden he was almost there. And I know I was here when Bob Toledo came through and Chris Selfo came through.
Yep.
But the job that Coach Fritz and Summerall, and now you're here, Coach. I mean, it's unbelievable the last 7 years where Tulane has come from.
Yep.
Since that post-Katrina, where they couldn't even field a team.
That's right.
It's amazing where Tulane is to this day, making the playoffs, beating USC in a Cotton Bowl. I mean, things you would never think you would see in the last 5-6 years.
That's right. No, it's been cool to see, and being here in 19 and 20 during the build, and then coming back last year and seeing it all come to fruition. It's been a cool deal, and we're kind of 10 years into a football program. You know, Coach Fritz was here 7 years, then Coach Summerall for 2, and credit to Coach Summerall for coming in and taking a lot of the things that Coach Fritz was doing and not changing them, but putting his own spin on it. And then you get me, who had been here for both. So in a day and age where programs are kind of turning over and changing and doing that all the time, we're kind of 10 years into a way of doing things here that works for this place, and it's something to be really proud of.
Talk some Mississippi real quick, because I know you're from Mississippi. I keep up with all Louisiana high schools. So I grew up, it was Moss Point.
Oh, yeah.
It was Olive Branch. And it was, I don't know why, but you had Brookhaven was pretty good back in the day.
Brookhaven.
Pascagoula High School.
West Point, Starkville.
Louisville. And there was Wiggins was pretty good, right outside of Jackson.
Yep.
And Murrah.
Yeah, Jackson.
Who's on
Murrah.
top these days in Mississippi?
Mississippi.
Brandon's won, right?
Well, Brandon's been good. Gulfport just won it in 7A. Okay. Louisville and West Point, you know, they're going to be in it every year. Poplarville just won it down in South Mississippi. So Tupelo's been really good in North Mississippi here recently. And yeah, man, but as you know, there's only 2.5 million people or so in the state, and a lot of good football players, a lot of good football.
Well, I'll remember this before we finish, and I'll see if Coach has a comment. Steve McNair went to LSU's camp, didn't get an offer. Willie Totten didn't get an offer. And Brett Favre didn't get an offer. All Mississippi boys. I was covering camps, and all I heard was, he's too short. Or he's not there yet. And I'm like, guys, they're not NFL guys at 18.
Yeah. There's a lot of them still have to be developed. You know,
Right.
Steve was from Mount Olive, Mississippi, a 1A school. Brett was from Hancock, you know, which was the kill then. And you know, a lot of those guys still have to be developed in small rural areas. And we have some like that in Louisiana. You know, and we try to do a great job of that. I think we've got, I can't name names, but I think we've got 7 players committed all throughout the state right now, all the way from the north, all the way down here to the city and moving west. And we recruit the state really hard and really look for those guys that still can develop and grow.
Before we close, Coach, tell me about your favorite 2 or 3 food items in New Orleans.
Yeah. So big Rizzuto's guy in Metairie. Big Katie's in Mid-City, Giacomo's right here in Uptown, Clancy's in Uptown. Me and my wife are foodies, man. We're going out to eat again tonight.
You ever go to Frost Top across the
street?
I
go across straight to Frost Top.
I got to give them a free plug because
Yeah.
we went there today, and Jason, your SID, told us go to Frost Top. He
Yeah,
said you can walk to it.
It's really
I feel
good.
like I go back in the 50s again with the old music. They got a Pac-Man video machine. If you're in your 50s like me, you can play Pac-Man. You can get a Frost Top. And look, they're not an advertiser. I'm just trying to help them with it across from Tulane.
Yep.
And I tell you, I bet you can't even get in Harley Tulane game night or during the day for a game.
It's fun now. It is.
Before we go, talk about your conference real quick and some of the teams that you know are going to be the path to go through to try and win the conference this year.
Yeah, you know, our conference, it's the best group of 6 conference in all of football. It has been for the last several years. If you win our league, you're more than likely in the playoff. I think the bottom of our league is going to be so much better this year because you look at like Tulsa with Trey Lamb, Temple with Casey Keeler, you know, Zach Kitley at FAU, Tim Albin at Charlotte. Those are all really good football coaches that are now in year 2.
Yeah.
So they're going to be so much better and going to be really, really competitive and hard to handle. Navy's got everybody back. Everybody's pretty much picking Navy to win it. And then Memphis and South Florida have turnover at the coaching staff and a lot of their roster turnover, but they got a lot of money to spend, so they've recruited well. And Army's always going to be tough. Army's always going to be tough. Everybody knows that. East Carolina's always going to be tough.
Yeah. And Coach, what I watch just for the fanatic, because I'm a fanatic watching games, and my dad being a coach, you got to watch football growing up. But Army and Navy stopping their offenses and their discipline.
They are.
It's another level. You can't take them guys lightly, or they'll make you regret it.
It's a great system, man. Running the option. My dad ran the option. I grew up doing it, so it's fun to watch. And it's not so much fun to watch when you're playing them, but it is. And UTSA, man, as long as Jeff Traylor's at UTSA, they're always going to be really tough.
And a lot of talent in San Antonio.
No doubt.
They have a draw. There's a lot of talent in that Texas area. It's gotten good. And Coach, thank you so much for allowing me to come in and interview you today.
Man, I appreciate you, Lee. It's great to meet you.
And I brought Coach some old magazines. His son's actually in the preview for John Curtis. And support Louisiana schools, and hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you soon. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please make sure to hit the free subscribe button, share and like the show, and thank you for watching.